All right.
Welcome back, Peace of Your Mind family.
Yes.
And you guys know how we like to kick it off, man. In order to take accountability for what has passed and what will be, there's no time like presently. So, for all of those who have mouths and ears, can we have a moment of your time? We want to gain some perspective. Can we have a piece of your mind?
What's up?
What's going on, Heck, man? It's
Hey.
been a beautiful 2-3 weeks, man.
Yeah. It's been good.
Just catch you guys up on what we've been doing, making moves for the podcast. We actually tried something new out. Again, we are self-scientists guys, so we're always experimenting. Maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we actually decided to record some back-to-back episodes, see what that felt like. Usually we're 1 week ahead, but we recorded some back-to-back episodes, see what that felt like. And I'm gonna tell you guys, it felt great. Okay. So great though that we're back on schedule now. Okay, we gotta we gotta catch up. So, but yeah, we've been experimenting with that. We slowed down with some of our on our social media processing, our content processing, but that's just to like reevaluate what we're gonna do. And got some other moves in the work we're working on. So we're still getting it together. This is all a learning process for us. We're trying to figure out the best way for us to operate. I actually think I like being a couple weeks ahead, Hector.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think we should do that. We should aim to do that again, man. Maybe we should get the whole month out the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one day, like get the whole month out the way, right? And then we could really see how we can grow on some other things. Get back to the content building, maybe throughout the week. Get back on how we're gonna learn how to monetize for the podcast and with the podcast. Like it leaves so much more room for growing, not having to worry about this. So I mean, I think if we do it again, heck, a good idea would be to just like pick a day that we're gonna shoot all of them on, like so we could be prepared for it. Today was a little bit. We haven't done it in 2-3 weeks. I was running. We're running behind. We're scrambling a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like scramble. Yeah. No, I agree, bro. I think those are some good points because like you were saying, we set ourselves up to have I won't call it downtime, but productive time, in a sense where we're not having to sit here and do this, because we already did it. So now we can go ahead and plan and set up some procedure, moving forward.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I like the idea of having an episode or two in stock. You know what I'm saying? So that, hey, we can't get to it today. That's all right. We got an episode. Let's just drop that one. I like the idea of that. And then, we're able to go ahead and touch a topic or something that we can keep it vague, not something time sensitive. But I find myself quite enjoying having something current to speak about. So like, we'll drop this episode today. And then I can, freely speak, about like my soccer thing going on that, I'm a coach now, for a junior league. And I can speak on that and allow it to be current. So everybody that hears this will hear this almost real time. You know what I'm saying? They'll be just a couple hours behind or whatnot. But it'll still be really relevant. So I like the idea of doing it on the same day or just the day before, but then also having some in stock. So I feel like, that's something we're definitely going to have to work in and have a bit of both, because having both does feel good. It feels like this podcast is a little bit, a little less. I'm not even going to say it was stressful at all, bro. This has not been stressful. This whole process has never been stressful, which is probably why we're still going. Yeah. And as far as I can see in the foreseeable future, we're going to be, coming at y'all episode 153 or something, man. Like I feel like this is going to have some longevity, man. You know what I mean? So, and it's fun, and I'm constantly getting some good feedback from family and friends. Like just one of our last episodes we did, we had Kate up here, and we talked about a lot of like the different cognitive distortions, and that was a fully vetted, like full run through of quite a list that we had. And I had family and friends tell me like, holy shit, I learned something from that. And I had a friend say, I can't wait for part 2 of that. Like that feels good to hear that, man. Like
what's up, man?
Yeah, it's exciting, man, because we're delivering something.
Again, thank you for coming. Hey, matter of fact, she can hear me on it. Hey, okay, thank you for coming through again. Yeah. It was fun having you. It gave me a different perspective on how we can operate the podcast. Like, I love your organization. I love how you refer to things. I love how you keep, people's name in mind when you get your information from it. It was really dope to see you in motion, man. I think you might
Hmm.
be made for podcasting too. Just putting that out there.
I agree, man. I told her that same thing, bro. Told her that same thing. She's just got that energy, and that ability to really communicate and conversate well. She's not one of these people that has to be in the limelight. She can take a moment to listen, and then receive everything and then respond, which is cool, man. Because lots of times, someone, and this is something I heard from her. She put it in a way that made a lot of sense because, all the time you hear people having conversations, and it's just like, I'm not trying to listen to you so that I can react to what you're saying. Like, I'm really absorbing it. I'm going to take it, apply it to the thought I have in my mind, and then redistribute that out in a way where it can keep the conversation going. And I think that's a
Yeah,
skill, man. That's a real big skill, bro.
yeah. It's what's crazy? It's just a process that you have to take notice of. Like how you just was able to explain that. That's exactly what it feels like when I'm up here talking, or like, sometimes when I go back and I watch the videos, right, and I'm watching us talk, and I'm explaining something. Like, I don't know you get it until you start talking back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you start talking back, and I know you're on point with whatever the story is I was giving or something, I'm like, yo, this dude listening. I like it.
Appreciate that, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have this whole process, and some people are just attentive like that, and they don't even realize it. Recognize your process. It is one of your
Mm-hmm.
strengths. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? When we can recognize what we're doing, when people tell you, yo, Frank, you know what? I like talking to you. Like, there's something in my process that they don't get elsewhere. I need to learn what that is so I can give it more with
Yep.
intention.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That intentionality is it's a game changer. When you have intentionality behind something, it becomes more like a power now. You know what I mean? You're holding out.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that because that's very true, man. Like, I was having a conversation with a coworker, and we were kind of talking about that, like in a sense, like, a superpower. Like, what's your superpower? And we all got a superpower, man. We're all incredibly well, like, gifted at something, and for those of us that are gifted at a whole lot of things, that's dope. But like, we are all really good at something. Now, that something could be, you're stubborn. Hey, you're just super stubborn. Hey, well, that's your superpower. You know what I'm saying? And being aware of it, you know how to use it, when to use it, kind of thing. And you start, understanding your gift, your ability to navigate it. Now, you're not always going to be stubborn. You know what I'm saying? Other people have, like you were just saying, like one of mine is the ability to be attentive and listen to that detail, and then have that conversation. That's kind of one of my powers too. Kate's power is that kindness. You know what I'm saying? So like, we all have something, and like Frankie was saying, y'all just like really try to figure out what that is and then fine tune it. Because that's an incredible thing to have, man. When you have awareness of self, you start to unlock so many different things about you. And what's really cool is that, you are living this. You know what I'm saying? You guys are living from your own perspective. When you unlock that awareness, you unlock several perspectives from within too, because now you're starting to see with the past self, the child within, the man or the woman you are today. You're starting to see from the eyes of a parent, from the eyes of a child, because you're someone's kid. You know what I'm saying? You start to see it from the eyes of being a partner, a spouse, a friend, a coworker. You start to see a lot way differently.
When you raise your awareness, man, you start to see it from the point of self that is your best self too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is your best answer to the situation? If you was your best self, if you was your highest self, how would you want to respond to that?
Right.
And then you get to choose to respond to it like that.
Exactly.
We're only human.
Right.
You know what I mean? And most humans, we don't choose how to react, because a reaction is a reaction. You know what I mean? It's one way that made you feel. There's one direction that made you go in. But when you become a human that learns how to respond, now you become a superhuman.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Now you becoming superhuman. Like, yo, where I would have went off the top when somebody said this time I stayed right here, and then I asked them a question, and I turned the confusion on them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing, man. It's you know, Frankie, we're gamers, bro. You and me, you know, we grew up gaming, and we know there's a
Yeah,
lot of them, and that's kind of the audience. You know, we're talking to whomever's willing to listen, but we really want to captivate that audience that are fathers, that are gamers. But hell, we know there's moms out there and they're gaming too. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
what it is, man. But being that gamer, man, that perspective, you know, it's there. So for anybody unfamiliar with it, like first person perspective is how you see through your eyes, and then perspective is like you kind of over your shoulder observing, you know, so you get a little bit of a wider scope, you know, that full circle. I love that full
yeah,
circle.
yeah, yeah.
So you get that. And so like Frankie was saying, man, when you unlock that awareness and you put some intent behind it, you go from first person to third person. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to see a little bit more of what's happening. Now, you don't get the entire scope of the world, unfortunately, but you get just that little bit more that gives you that edge. And that edge could be knowing how to advocate for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That could be knowing how to teach and foster healthy relationships within your community, within your family. You know what I'm saying? So like bringing that awareness up is so critical, and that's not something that I feel like that's ever really pointed out anywhere in life. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of just gain that along the way, kind of along the journey. You gain some awareness,
Yeah.
but like I don't feel like I was ever in school and they were like, you know, hey, practice this and that, and helped me like really dive deep into that. So I had to kind of learn along the way. Which, you know, I'm gonna go a little bit kind of left and right, a little helix action here, because
Let's go.
um, let's do it. Because I've discovered something about me, guys, just recently that I've fallen in love with, and you know, all you guys have heard that I started coaching the junior league, and I have had a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment, and learning how to speak to these younger children. Because, you know, you think, oh, he's 7 years old, she's 7 years old. Okay, they're all the same. Well, they're not. You know what I'm saying? They are very different. So knowing how to speak to the kid that has a possible language barrier, or speaking to the kid that doesn't have a whole lot of enthusiasm, or speaking to the one kid that, you know, doesn't want to hear anybody, is always go, go, go mode. You know what I'm saying? Like figuring out how to speak to these youngsters, man, these little people is been becoming a cool kind of power that I'm trying to let it be a superpower, if you will. Because I've talked to you guys a lot, and I've told you, Frankie, too. You know, that measure of intelligence, that how many ways can I say something? And when I'm talking to 10 different kids all at the same time, I have to tell them all in a way where they will understand what I'm trying to convey. And that's cool to do that because it's on the spot. You know what I'm saying? I can't really prepare for that because they might be in a different mood from the last week I got to see them. And so that shit is so inspiring in some ways to continue moving forward, because I have my little lady, she's 7. I have my son, he's 14. And so speaking to them is very different, you know, because he's twice, like he's much older than her. He's a
Right to hey,
teenager,
your boy, yeah.
and when you speak to a teenager, you speak to a teenager much differently. They're not adults, but they are not children anymore.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
they're right in that middle. So you have to balance how it is you speak to them. And when you speak to the younger ones, you know, they're going to receive you like if you're constantly scolding them, if you're always being crazy, they're not really going to receive you well. So you have to figure out a way to catch their ears and their eyes. You know, you've got to really entertain them in conversation in order to kind of grasp onto something.
The coach
And
is a
so
lot of psychology, huh?
it really is. It really actually is, man. And
Man.
it's so dope, bro. It's so dope. And you know, I love those kids, man. Like it's really fun to have going. I'm going in later today. You know, I have a game today. And it'll be our game 3. And I have not had so much fun, you know, in so long doing something so simple. You know, I'm just kind of volunteering my time. I stepped in, and then I feel like every week I'm learning something too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that I can continue to deliver something to these kids. All the while they're delivering me plenty of experience and knowledge, and they're not even knowing. They're just existing. They're just doing what they're doing and having fun,
Yeah.
all at the same time. I am as well. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm older doesn't mean I'm not still learning, I'm not still growing. And that's the best part because they look up to me for leadership, for understanding, for direction. And that's kind of like a two-way street. You know, I got to give them what they're looking for, and they're giving me something that they don't even know I'm looking for. And it's just cool, man. It's just kind of dope to be able to
You
have
know
that
what, man?
experience.
Since you brought it up, man, I like to ask a few questions on the topic.
Oh, hell yeah, please.
Coach Rivera.
Yes,
So first
sir.
of all, let me on the podcast congratulate you. I know that was
Thank you,
something you were
man.
going for, man. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm actually excited, bro. So I'm gonna just put this out there. Hector and I have been talking a lot, and I know we're trying to, again, we just started the podcast. There's a lot of things we need to learn. There's a lot of, moving levers we need to learn how to control. And in this growing process, we're still trying to figure out, trying to really niche down now who's our target audience. You know what I'm saying? And it's starting to become more and more clear. One of our target audience are fathers. This summer, this whole year was supposed to be about moving different, right? Mm-hmm. This summer, I decided, like, you know what? I'm gonna take my boys driving. I'm gonna make them come to the park with me and work out. We're gonna call it Summer Sundays. I'm gonna go to the park and work out. And I also want to encourage other young people to, like, move. Like, I really feel like this next generation, one of the things that they don't have that we have was moving. You know what I'm saying? We just moved a lot more. And the generation before us, they moved even more than us. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that definitely has a lot to do with technology or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I want to inspire some kids to move. So I want to be part. Next year, summertime next year, I want to have like a father's group going on. And we pick a day, we go to the park, and we just go out there and, like, teach the kids something. Like, if there's a father who feels like they know something about coaching, like my man Hector right here, you know what I'm saying? Yo, listen, you ain't gotta be a star coach off rip, but you take 3 of these kids off the street who's a little interested in football, you teach them some drills. They go to high school and they like the stars of the team. They be like, yo, where you learn that from? Oh, Coach Rivera, man, you weren't growing with me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes growing is a process that takes time. But you got to be willing you have to be first willing to put out that time and that energy. So we're hoping to create this kind of environment. So we need dads. We're now going after gamer dads because we understand them, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And just parents in general, though, because we want the next generation to be greater than us. Our ceiling should be their floor, right? And there's just certain things certain moves we got to make. Anyway, back to you, Coach. Okay. So, Hector, I know there was I know prior to getting into it, you had mentioned you never pictured yourself doing it, or you didn't think you didn't have the confidence, or it was something stopping you. Now, what was that roadblock? What were the roadblocks for you?
Yeah, that's a damn good question, bro. Because you know what, I've been actually contemplating a lot of those things that were roadblocking me, and truthfully, they are all psychological, man. Like, I was physically in shape to be able to do that. I have a lot of understanding of a lot of different sports, and so the only roadblocks were psychological. Will I be received? Is my demeanor approachable? Can these kids look at me and see a friendly face? Are they going to look at me and be like intimidated and scared to approach? Those kinds of things. Those really simple, just all I've got to do is smile and say hi, and they just light up, because that's the thing with most children that I've come to understand, is that a healthy child has a healthy approach to a healthy adult. You know what I'm saying? And I am a healthy adult. I've had years of practice to get myself right and centered and go for it. And so, yeah, something like that, which is kind of, just the psychological aspect of it was what really slowed me down in the idea of thinking that I could ever do something like that, step out of my zone to, help with someone else's kid or volunteer my own time. I was always concerned that with that as well, that, as far as the physicality, I don't really have lots of free time like that because I'm always kind of committing to something else, be it like family time or work or something. So it's just like when and where can I squeeze that in? And it's just like, when I really think about it, man, I'm not even sacrificing my entire Sunday. I still have a little bit of my Sunday morning to spend with family, to do whatever I need to do to get ready for game time. I get out to the field, get these kids practiced up, do the game. And then I get to spend more family time with my family. I get to, we'll probably go out to get something to eat, or, we'll go to the park and do something simple, just have fun, just walk and whatever. Like I was always concerned about free time too. So yeah, those kinds of things really just made the hesitation for me, which, now that I'm doing it, it's just like, man, I didn't need to really worry about that. And
Yeah,
so I'm going to take that a little left real quick because not only just with coaching, but with a lot of different aspects in my life, oh, I can't make it to that show, or I can't make it to that birthday party, or I can't make it
being
to
on this podcast, bro.
being on the podcast. Right. Like there were so many things that, we all have, not just me, not just Frank, but everybody out there listening. We got a lot of things that, we just don't feel like we can really give ourselves to because of time, because of the psychological aspect, because of this, because of that. Lots of times, you hear that old saying that showing up is half the battle, because that's real true. Once you're there, no, you're there. That's it. You just
Yeah,
got to be you now. That's easy because you've been doing you for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be okay with that. Y'all be okay with you, and be okay that wherever you may be, you are allowed to be you. And that once you realize that, once you overcome that little hurdle, man, you're on the right path already. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, yeah,
Can I give a thought on that, Heck? So,
absolutely.
all right. So just to simplify it, right? I feel like the battle we have sometimes is either with ego or is with being too humble, right?
Mm,
So in this humbleness, it's easy to become complacent. It's easy to become real chill, relaxed. You know what I mean? You may
yeah.
be able to feel like, yo, I can be a coach, but at the same time, you're just so humble. You're so cool and easy. You don't never go for it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Then we start. Then we because we don't never act on it, we start to lose confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Confidence to me, and this is my opinion, confidence lies with the ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's the ego in you that's gonna be like, yo, I can do that, and make you get up and do that. You get
Yep,
what I'm saying?
I agree.
It's like you don't have to be the star of the team to dunk. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure the star of the team, before he could dunk, he had to tell himself one time, I can do that. You know what I mean? At some
Yeah.
point before he ever dunked the ball. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if you like, yo, for any person out there with any kind of passion for anything, they feel like there's something you can do. Yo, get that ego up, man. Let your ego speak. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hell
Because
yeah.
if some things, if you leave it to just being humble, then the excuses come. Then
Mm-hmm.
it's, oh well, I can't make time, or you find more reasons to not do it. But if you allow that ego to come up, who says I can do it, oh, you're gonna make the time. Like, because the ego said I can do it. Now I gotta find time to make sure I said I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think it
Exactly.
I think it's dope. And then I do also recall you telling me it's been like a huge confidence booster for you. You've been telling me
Mm-hmm.
you've been feeling a lot more confident in who you are. And it's
Right.
because, and I do feel like, my friend, is because you've been letting your ego speak a little more. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit for real, and
The
that
ego controlled, the humbleness controlled is power. You know what I'm saying? You can't be
yeah.
one way
Yeah.
or to the other. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying? We're human beings. We're
Yep.
supposed to be that diverse. We're supposed to have a
Exactly.
humble side of us. We're supposed to have an extreme side of us. But we can't be super extreme and we can't be super calm all the time. Like,
No, that's it. That's true, and
you
that's
know?
funny too. I'm gonna bring it a little, a little full circle, but going left on that too. So like whenever I design like logos, I do design work for logos and stuff, and so whenever I'm building one, I have a scale. I have conservative, and I have radical, and we always start right there in the middle. So it's just like depending on the person I'm building the logo for, how conservative do you want your logo to be? How radical do you want it to be? And I feel like that scale also applies to that humility and to that ego, because as long as we're playing within the confines of that scale, we're okay. but there is a such thing as going too far off. That's when we start making excuses because we're too humble. That humility is just way in control. And then on the other side of that ego, that ego becomes arrogance and that stubbornness and that cockiness. So floating in the middle of that, is kind of the idea, man, the ideal spot to be. Because when you think about a pie, the crust is nice, man. So is the breading all around, but the sweet stuff is right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we intend to need. That's where we should intend to be. And everybody obviously different experiences. Life is sonder, so you gotta really actually play and understand, where your scale starts and ends. You've got to be aware of that, and then find that thing that is in the middle that can keep you grounded and balanced and content. On a not content in a sense where you're not achieving, but content where I can do more or less, but I'm happy here and I'm doing good and I'm productive, for not only for you, but for yours, whomever you got in your circle. And so coaching has definitely taught me that too, Frank, in a way, because I have a certain style of parenting. I love being generous with my love, hugs, telling you I love you. I'm very okay with that, very secure with telling my children, with my friends, my family. If I love you, I will tell you I love you. It's when I don't tell you I love you, I might need to worry a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I got no problem saying that I love you. So being a parent, moving into this coaching thing too, I did worry about also my parenting style, because I also like the idea of tough love. If you're being a little turd nugget, I'm gonna tell you that. Like, we don't act up, we don't act out. We always move with respect. And I told my kids just last week, I was having a conversation with my kids about respect, and so many of them knew what respect is, man. And that made me so proud, man, because that's a reflection of their parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To know what that word means. But something that I did have to correct all of them on, and I'm not mad about it, was that respect, you don't only just respect other people, you got to respect you too. That's a big part of it all, because if you don't respect you, no one will. And so I made sure that those kids understood that you always respect your elders, you respect your parents, but you got to respect you along the way too when you're learning. Whatever it is you're absorbing, you're learning, respect the process. Don't think you're going to play soccer one day and be amazing. No, it's going to take a little while, and that's okay to do that. Take baby steps, take big steps, take the steps that you think you can take, and be proud of yourself along the way. And so going back with, again, the parenting style, I was a little worried about, would some parents receive it well? Would they be like, oh, I got to step in, can't let him talk to my kid like that kind of thing? I haven't had that problem. Again, it's only game 3 today, but it's cool to see that, from what I can tell, most of the parents are pretty proud and pretty happy to see their children getting that playtime, getting that stern talking to if it needed to happen, being encouraged, being, taught camaraderie and respect and just enthusiasm. Dude, that shit it's exciting, bro. I'm so happy to be doing this. And it just feels good. So I know that, feeling good feels good. Y'all know this already. I told y'all that before. So step out of that comfort zone. Like Frankie has been telling y'all since we started this, step out of that comfort zone and start achieving some things that you don't believe yourself to have been able to achieve. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to start somewhere. So find that something and start there. Don't matter how big or small it is. Shit. In the kitchen, you got some white bread, you got some wheat bread. We'll go with the healthier option. Get some wheat bread. You know what I'm saying? So little things like that. And Frankie has told you guys this before too. You put a bowl of apples on the table, right? And you walk by this bowl of apples all the time. And suddenly one day you feeling snacky. You want a little snacky snack. Well, you're gonna go for the apples because they're right there. That's a convenient, healthy snack. That's a good choice. You put in that prep time ahead of time to have that available to you. Yeah, intentionality. And let me tell you something, Frank. Yo, we applied that just recently, not too long ago in our home. So Kate and I had an idea, right? And we put up a little corner in our house.
The music space.
The music space, bro.
Okay,
yes. So we got the record, old school vinyl records, bro. The big, you know what I'm saying? We popped the record in, got the little needle and all. We got one of the old school ones. You know what I'm saying? I install little things on the wall to make it feel artistic because, you know, all the album covers is like a piece of art, man. Someone sat there and designed that shit with intentionality. So we got vinyl covers up on our wall as art, and we can interchange them as we please, right? We got a station where there's 4 guitars for all of us in the home, and they're just perfectly lined up, perfectly accessible. Yo, Frank, for the last week and a half, Kate and I have been doing lessons, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or plus a day. Bro, I know 4 guitar chords now easily. I'm learning how to play guitar because it's right there in front of me, bro.
Yo,
this shit is dope.
Bro, what, yo, you know how I provide handyman services, bro. If I was like at my height, my peak, and doing what I wanted to do, that's exactly what I'll be helping people do. Is just figuring out how to make your space more functional. I feel like every home should have at least one laboratory.
Yes.
Right? And a laboratory, you know, we ain't talking about Dexter's Lab. Like, you know, it don't gotta look like Dexter's Lab, man. You know what I mean? But a laboratory is, hey, if you're a writer, you should have a space in your home that's specifically meant for writing. Your pencils should be on the table. You should probably have a space for your coffee if you like to have coffee, like real particular.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be real particular. You got to make your space look like it's designed for whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So like a music space, yo, like you were just saying, like you put all this stuff up and you put it there with intention. Here goes the power. There goes the power in it. You ain't just put it there. You put it there with intention. You was intended to use this space. You want to feel a certain way when you're in this space. You know what I'm saying? And because you did it with intention from start to finish, you and Kate been intentionally using this space, and now you've grown to know 4 strings, like you just said, among other things, bro. Yo, that's fucking dope, bro. That's growth. That's practitioner. That is self-scientist. That is everything we talk about up here, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I love it. Yeah, I love hearing it, man.
And it feels good to practice what we're preaching, bro.
Yes, sir.
Because man, yeah, I feel like I'm not in a position where I'm gonna let myself down anymore. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I've got a partner who's not only my rock, my boulder, my skyscraper, the heavens, the earth, but like, yo, I got a partner that encourages that shit in me. You know what I'm saying? And it feels good to have that level of confidence within myself, but then also from an outside perspective, which is cool, man. Because it's like, all right, I've got to deliver, and not in the sense like, you know, this is hard. I gotta cram, and you know, I feel super obligated. No, it just feels good to do that shit, man. It feels good to be healthy, and that's something that's so scary. Is that it? You know, God forbid that shit could change in a second. So while I'm here right now, I'm going to move with as much intentionality as I can, because not only am I doing it for me, I want my partner to feel like she is allowed to do that for herself. But then I also want my children to see that too, so that when they get older, they're going to remember, you know, little things, little bits of detail that, oh man, I remember that, you know, he used to do it this way. I want to do it that way too. And then they're going to know that is something approachable. That's not something impossible.
Yo, bro, I feel like that's powerful. That's powerful. Like, because I really feel like even if our kids don't grow up to be exactly like us, even if yours don't follow you and do music, they seen you in your craft when you was by yourself and not, you know, distracted by the world and everything else going on, and you was just in your zone. You was in your flow. They got to see what somebody in their flow is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They got to see that the space you set up for it, and when they find their flow, the things that they want to be doing, they can have an idea of what they need to create around them to get there. You know what I mean? For growth purposes. You know what I mean? To be that musician, that writer, that whatever moves them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That go-getter. Because, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is you want to get, you got to go get it. So I want them to be go-getters for sure. And that's,
bro, man, listen, man. If Owen was my father, bro, and he was he was doing martial arts as I was being grown, bro, you know what I be doing? I know a little bit. I don't know it all, bro. I know a little bit.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, on that note too, man, I just spoke to my dad today, man. And I mean, he definitely gave me a good confidence boost, man. It was kind of dope to hear him deliver it in the way he delivered it, and he was just like, yeah, he's like, I'm calling to see how you doing, and I'm like, I'm good, pops. He's like, good. He's like, I'm outside, I'm chilling. Your mom got the TV on, and I'm educating myself right now before all the football stuff happens. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm listening to your podcast. I'm getting educated from the podcast. And that gave me a confidence boost. Like, oh shit, like, we're touching topics and different points of view that this gentleman is absorbing. He's taking it, he's listening to it.
Yeah,
And he
up,
called
man.
it, a form of education. He's learning something. That's kind of what the key takeaway is. He's
What's up,
learning
man?
something.
Hey, oh
And
man, I'm ready for you to come teach me something, bro. I know you
yeah,
got all
yep.
the info for me. Right?
Exactly.
I'm trying to
That's
get
it.
ahead. You know what? I'm up here talking because I want these young people to get ahead. By the time
Mm-hmm.
they 20 something, I want them to be further than I was when I'm 36.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I know you got something for me, Owen, man.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly it, bro. It's just like it's cool that the generation before us is. I feel like there is a level of awakening happening in the world right now, man. Where the generation before us is starting to realize, like, oh shit, y'all are kind of smart. You guys are kind of cool, and that acknowledgement, man, is allowing us to be willing to understand where they came from and give them that acknowledgement back and that forgiveness and that understanding of how and why they did what they did raising us. You know what I'm saying? They not with malicious intent, with just with the tools they had. You know what I'm saying? And as long as this human experience continues, we develop new tools. Look at the Stone Age. Look at what we're doing today. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The tools we have are what we use. And so that's just kind of dope, to have that connection, that reconnectivity with them, because as children, that's just who takes care of us. It's just mom and dad. But then when we grow up, man, we can really start to appreciate mom and dad. Mom and dad hustled. Mom and dad provided. Mom and dad did this and that. I'm gonna take all the best bits of that, and I'm gonna do that for my children. And we just keep doing that until hopefully one day, man, we just, we're
word.
great and amazing. But Frankie, like you said, man, give the flowers to our elders while they're here, man. Doesn't matter if they're 50s, 60s, 70s. Give it to them. Give it to them. Shit, hell
Yeah,
yeah. Let talk to them. Ask questions. Learn some things. And so you're right, bro. Getting up on here, get my dad up on here. I feel like that's gonna be a very good one. Because
yeah,
that man has walked many a miles in his shoes for sure. And I was there for much of it. I was there for a good bit of it, man. I knew that man since I was a teenager myself. Very stubborn, very thought I knew the world. Smelling my own shit, thinking I'm great and cool. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I was a good man to have in my corner for sure growing up. So it would be cool to have him up here. And I did tell him that our last episode, I did leave a message in there for him, and so I know he heard it because he listened to it today. And here we go, 2 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming, man.
no rush on. We ready.
No rush, but definitely sooner than later. So, but yeah, it's cool, man. I think with this platform for for what we intended it to be, Frankie, has become so much more, bro. And I've fallen in love with the idea of being able to be consistent and delivering the message despite what the message is. Whether we're talking about AI, talking about coaching, talking about this or that, whatever the message is, man, it's cool to be able to let that out. And then, kind of figure out a new perspective with that. Because all this shit was bundled up in my mind. And then now I get to share that with my best friend. And then all of you guys get to hear us how we, we mix this in and we make something solid out of it, that's just going to stand on its own. That is a cool ass experience to have. And this platform brought that to us, man, for real.
Yeah,
I mean,
heck, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's always dope to hear about how, like, the podcasts are talking. It's always dope to hear that somebody took to it well, and they give you feedback, bro. You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's dope. I actually don't get that on this side. I don't got. No, I don't really get that on this side. I don't have anybody that really tune in that's like that close to me.
Hmm.
But, what can you do, man? Maybe later. You know what I
That's
mean?
all right. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
best part about this, bro. Is
You
you
gotta
said
be
that
here.
shit one time. Yeah, we made a video catalog, bro. So if we want to go back and review something, and you can kind of sharpen up on something we might have said or remember it or gain a different perspective based on where we're at now, we have
Yeah.
that power, and so do they. You know what I'm saying? So even if you ain't getting it out, that don't mean it's not coming. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you might get flooded with it, man. You might get the right family member or friend to look at it and be like, yo, and then they blow it up or whatever, and everybody gets a little piece of it, and they get to see all what Frank is doing up on it. Like, yeah, it's cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be receiving them now, because it is kind of fuel to keep going, to keep chugging along. It's that coal
Yeah.
going into the fire, man. It's like, it feels good to do that. But that's not the only reason I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's a bonus, and that bonus is sweet, man. I do really enjoy that. So, just putting it out there to all y'all. If y'all really want to say something, or you like something you heard, or you want to hear something be spoke on, man, this is an invitation to that. We
Yes.
definitely welcome any and all critique and feedback. We absolutely love that.
Yeah, get in touch with us however you can. PC of Mind, at PC of Mind Podcast on Instagram.
Yep, yep.
We're on Facebook as well at PC of Mind Podcast.
Yep, we're on
I can reach
YouTube
out on
too.
Spotify. I can reach out on Apple. Can they reach out on Apple Music?
I don't know. That's a good question. I really don't actually know. But if someone, yeah, if someone out there is on Apple Music, sure, reach out and let us know, and then we'll know. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing to do, ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know what I mean? So,
So,
yeah.
on the topic of self growth, right? I wanted to just share with somebody, like anybody who's looking to grow on self. I know there's a lot of talk about like growing on self, but some people will still be confused. Like, what does it mean to grow on self? You know what I mean? And so I was just trying to I wanted to give like an idea of how you know when you're on the right path, right? Because at the beginning of this year, I said to myself, like, yo, this year I'm gonna move different. I'm like, every move that people used to know that I used to do, they're not gonna see it no more. I'm moving different, right? So we started the clubhouse. We started this podcast. You know what I'm saying? I've been going to church every Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I've been just moving different than I usually do, trying to like learn something. And I said this at the beginning of this year. This is going to be my financial abundance year. Well, so far that hasn't come true. But I don't regret everything that I've been learning, because becoming an entrepreneur is and doing like this businessman thing is very much a spiritual journey. I'm starting to feel that way. Because there's a lot of things that come up that test my spirit, that test who I am, that going on, making content, shooting reels, shooting on this on live. All this was against who I was. You know what I'm saying? It was not what I do. It was everything I feared. You know what I'm saying? Now I don't have those same fears. I don't even think in that capacity. But it took a while for me to get there. And all of this was, again, it was a spiritual growth. It was growing on self. So this is what I've noticed, right? So I had this general idea. I want to be a handyman. It was just a thought, but it was a thought in the midst of a bunch of other things that I'm consuming, things that I'm watching, other things that's on my mind and stressing me out, my belief in myself. There's a bunch of things in the way of that desire of wanting to be this handyman, this businessman, this entrepreneur, right? So my waking thoughts in the morning would not always be about this businessman, handyman, entrepreneur. Sometimes it would be about something that's been stressing me out, baby mama drama. Sometimes it'll be about what I seen on TV, Hollywood Housewives, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And these were my waking thoughts. This is how I know I wasn't on my path yet. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm starting to feel like I'm more on my path because my waking thoughts are about my business. You know what I mean? Some of those emotional traumas in things that bother me, such as talking on live, such as just talking in general. Like I never was comfortable with talking to people like that. And like I had to get by that. Like when I used to wake up, this would be one of the fears. It's because I know I want to get to being a businessman, but I know now this is a wall in my way. It's talking. I have to get by this. I had to knock down that wall. Now, you know what I mean? That's one less thing that's on my mind. I could get straight to the thoughts of my business. And this is how you know when you're on the right path. So, hey, you guys have a desire. You have a goal. You guys have something you're reaching for. Yo, just start the trip. Just take a trip. You know what I'm saying? The things that's going to be needed, they're going to come up. They're going to be the things that's on your mind. You have to clear them. You know what I mean? This is getting in tune with self. You have to clear them. It could be a trauma. It could be something that just annoys you. You got to figure out why it annoys you. So that way it can't annoy you and distract you from what's important. You know what I mean? But that's growing on self. It's definitely not something you could do overnight. It's definitely something I recommend you get away from. You know, we're so used these norms that the norms out here in society. We're so used to it, Hector, that like, okay, you go to one friend's house and screaming at each other is a regular thing over there. They just see it as, you know what I'm saying? You go to another friend's house and, I don't know, putting their hands on each other is a normal thing. I don't even see it as nothing. You know what I mean? You go to another house and maybe it's a little peaceful and they talk, whatever. But the norms are different is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
And we're so used to them that I feel like a power move anybody can make is, like really like do a vacation, staycation. Stay home a week, 2 weeks at a time, and let's drown out all the noise, man. Get rid of the I'm not saying don't have your phones, but the things that you know aren't helping you grow. Don't search that. Search for things that you're just genuinely interested in. Use that for your week or two. You know what I mean? The people you usually talk to, like, tell them you're taking the 2 weeks break. You know what I mean? Take 2 weeks off. You know what I'm saying? What's going to end up happening is, you're going to take that 2 weeks off away from the world, away from society, TV, and everything you know. You're going to come back to it. Now, I'm going to tell you, you're going to feel exactly the same. Nothing's going to change. You know what I'm saying? The days I used to take off from the post office and I used to come back, was what? The mail was moving when I was gone. The mail was still moving when I got back. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And you start to like, you really start to like notice these things, and then you don't want to be part of that flow anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to do this process no more. This jump seems mad. I don't know. It felt like deja vu every day. You know what I'm saying? You got that feeling of deja vu every day. You need to change, man. Like, you felt like you've been here before, it's because you have, man. It's not need to change.
That's true. That's good. I like that, bro. I like
For
that.
real, man.
I just because, bro, when you were talking, man, you had mentioned that, self-growth, and then this last year has really been a spiritual journey. And then I really found myself starting to think about what that word means, spiritual, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us are thinking more like a religious kind of thing, or, like that's probably where most people would kind of go in that direction. But, looking up the actual term, spiritual is relating to or affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. And that's pretty damn good, bro, because like in all reality, I did, bro. I had to, man, just because like my brain wanted to go towards the other way, and I'm like, no, I know spiritual is more than that.
Yeah. So when I think of spirit, well, I used to think the same way, but now when I think of spirit is an energy.
Right.
Spirit is an energy. If you want to be a businessman, you need a businessman energy. You want to be an actor, you need an actor's energy. You got to be able to be your regular self and go right into a scene like an actor can. It's an energy. Spirit is an energy. When I say spirit, I also mean like, okay, I wanted to start shooting lives and just talking on live. You need, like, it wasn't in me before. I was scared. I was nervous. It was, you know what I mean? It used to raise up anxiety. You know what I mean? That was all. I didn't have the gusto. You know what I'm saying? I needed that gusto. That comes from spirit. You know what I mean? Like the people that have ever started anything and they gave up, their spirit wasn't tough enough. Failure is a necessity in success. You know what I mean? That's one of those things where you can't have one without the other. So when we're at times where we're failing, you know what I mean? A lot of people would just give up. They don't have the gusto. They don't have the energy. They don't have the fortitude. And mind you, don't get me wrong. Having some knowledge is going to strengthen that spirit as well. But spirit is when you're going to go through it even when it gets tough. That's when your spirit is really showing. You know what I'm saying? That's like when you watch boxing. When you watch boxing and the dude just got knocked down, Diego Corrales was a good one for this show. Diego Corrales got knocked down 7, 8 times and came back and still won the fight, bro. You need a spirit to get, you get knocked down. I get knocked down right now. I give up. This man beat my ass, man. No. Spirit gonna help you keep going. You know what I mean? That's spirit. You know what I mean? And then it's been I don't know.
It's been a journey, man.
Been a change of perspective for me on what spirit was in the past year or two too, bro. For real.
No, that's cool, bro. I really respect that. I actually love that, man, because I would say the same. You know what I'm saying? Like moving, as per the definition, moving away from the material or the physical things, man. Well, it was my mind telling me I couldn't do some things. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing physically stopping me. As far as finances and time, which is a man-made construct anyway. Like these things, I allowed them to stop me in very minuscule ways, but most of it was just me telling me I couldn't do it. So, that's just me convincing myself I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, I'm not trustworthy, whatever the hell, whatever category you want to place that in.
And that's when you got to dive into either the ego or the humbleness and pull out exactly what you need, bro.
Yep. And so you walk that line, that spiritual journey, and telling yourself, you know what, I can, whether the material or the physical altercations in my way are blocking me, I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna go because you believe in yourself to be able to do it, kind of thing, man.
Yeah. So believing in yourself too, man.
Yeah, I respect that, bro.
Spirit too.
It has been a journey this year, man, and I feel lucky, Frank, because not only have I got to see my own personal journey, obviously, I've gotten to be part of a lot of people that I care about, and see a lot of their come up too, man.
Yeah.
And that's dope, bro. That's really dope to know that, like the water level is rising, man, but like none of us is sinking now. No one is sinking. We're just moving up with it, kind of thing, and we're good for it. But most importantly, just because that water level's rising doesn't mean we're afraid of what's underneath either. Because you know what? Now we can swim. Now we can do what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling, man, to see all the people that you care about are able to achieve that for themselves. And then, you have that gumption, that gusto to get it for yourself too. You know what I'm saying? So that whole idea, the like minds, well, you surround yourself with people that love you, that care for your well-being, and are intentional with their own practice in their daily lives. All of you in your circle are going to start to feel that way, man, and that's a cool thing to do, man. It's like you elevate your people, man.
Yo, you know what, Heck, man, I'm gonna put this out there for everybody. Listen, we are all creative. We are all gifted. We all have like this. We have these abilities, right? We're all amazing, but everybody's not ready to use their amazement. Everybody's not ready to live in that. They're not ready to experience that. They're not ready for how it's gonna test their spirit. They're not ready for how it's gonna make them have to think when we're used to not thinking. You know what I'm saying? We put everything on autopilot. We don't do nothing new because to do what we already know is easy. Some people don't want to step away from that, and that's cool. But let me tell you this, you guys, we are all brilliant. You are brilliant. You come up with great ideas. You're sharing them with the wrong people. You want to grow on your ideas? Come talk to some other bright, brilliant people. You know what I mean? Who are looking to grow on their ideas. You got to brainstorm with the right people. When you're putting out your best energy for giving out a solution for a problem, when you're surrounded with people who don't really care to change the problem, you're gonna start to feel like, yo, you know what I mean? You're gonna either start to feel like, yo, maybe what I said didn't make sense, or maybe, maybe maybe I shouldn't just care that much. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna
Right.
start to lose confidence in yourself because you're talking to the wrong people. Okay, come grow with some people that want to grow.
Yep.
We'll find
Yep.
them. You know what I mean? That's what me and Hector decided to do this year. We're gonna find our tribe. Okay.
That's it. Oh
We can't
yeah.
find them. We're gonna create them. Okay.
We're gonna make them.
We're
We
gonna
go.
figure it out.
Yeah. One way or
You know
another
what I
for
mean?
sure. Yep. Yep.
So
Nah,
yeah, man.
it's been.
Listen, I want to get somebody moving. We need some fathers. We need some fathers. We want to start a group. We want to start. We definitely want to start like a male support group as well. You know what I mean? Something for the young men. Something for the men our age. We can get together, yo. Now's this time right here is our time. Anybody that's close to my age, my gen, this is our time. The younger gen, this is their time too. You know what I mean?
That's
But this is
it.
our time. We like I keep saying, we understand the old ways and the benefits from the old ways. We understand the new ways because it creates them. Okay. You know what I mean? We talk to them. So
Yep.
we are now officially the middleman. Like, you know what I mean? We don't even have to ask for the position. You got it. Okay.
You got
You're the middleman.
yeah.
Like, yo, let's start taking advantage of it, man, and let's make something grow. Let's raise the ceilings for everybody in our generation, so that their kids can have a floor that started from our ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. One of the dopest things I've seen recently, Hector, yo, just scrolling out social media, is a lot of the basketball fathers from our generation, bro. All their kids are playing basketball, bro, and they coaching them, bro.
I noticed that.
I'm like, yo,
I
these
know.
kids are gonna be nice. They're gonna be nicer than LeBron. They're gonna be nicer than Dwayne. You know what I mean? There's a
Yep.
possibility out there. They're being trained by the highest of their time, right?
It's possible for sure. I mean,
Wow,
you look
yo,
at it, man. You look at these middle schoolers, man. They balling out there better than we ever did in high school, kind
yeah,
of thing. You
man.
know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
man.
It's like,
Yo, look,
whoa.
the stars are doing that with their kids, man. We ain't the stars, but hey, there are things we can do with ours to get ours ahead, man. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? It's no different. There's things we can do with ours to get ours ahead too, and that's a little bit of that is just talking to them, giving them some information, telling them about other ways other than what going to high school, going to college, and find there's other dreams you can create out there because
Absolutely. Hell
you are
yeah.
creative.
That's it. We
Yeah,
all are.
creativity, man. I see my man Heck got something back there. I know we closing in on
Oh, yeah.
what we got today, man.
Shit. So today, just because of the conversation, man, with how I like all these things to make sense in some way, man. And so, I came in here wanting to talk about learning how to communicate with people, um, being creative, being able to do whatever it is, still get the message across, kind of thing. Like, so I went a little radical with this one, but I had Mid-Journey go ahead and do a watercolor painting of a tribal woman, wearing a bunch of the tribal, stuff. And I feel like just, going real fucking serious with that for a minute. Like, we consider, how I was just talking about how I'm talking to children, right? I have to learn how to speak to them. Or when you're talking to a best friend or your parent or a coworker, you got to talk to these people differently. You know what I'm saying? You got to speak to everybody on a level where they'll understand it. We have to be willing to break those language barriers, and and through that communication, do we not only discover ourself, but we discover who it is we're having this conversation with too. And conversation is one of my superpowers, man, because I listen, and I love to listen, actually, way more than I do speak. But I've been a little bit better on speaking, and so I just got this piece of art, man. Just because I felt like communication, man, it's so critical. And I'm thinking about, like, early American, going really left here, going early America, thinking about like Native Americans and all that.
Native
And
American.
yeah, the
Like
level of the level of communication that was lacking during that time, man. Just imagine if people sat down and really break bread and listen and understand what's going on, instead of being so invasive and so stubborn and so I know what I'm doing. Like,
what's crazy that I've been hearing. I think I was watching something recently. What was it? I was watching something recently, and they spoke on the Native Americans. I ain't gonna get all into it, but it did seem like there was a lot of miscommunication or something going on. Like, I think I heard a story, and again, I heard a story. Okay, history. All right, his story. But
His
anyway,
story, bro.
and,
Yep.
the native gentleman was saying that, like, I guess during some treaty or something like that, like at some point in time, the native kids were forced to go to the school system as we know it, our school system, and they were just forced to learn what we were teaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that was just it. Like, you know what I mean? There wasn't an option. There was not an option to keep them in their own way of teaching and learning. They had to come learn the curriculum that everybody else was learning, kind of thing. And
Sure.
I mean, that do sound like a good way to get people to lose their old ways, start losing their language or whatever else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, those values, those traditions, man.
Yeah.
You start.
If that's how it worked, you know what I mean?
That's a whole other conversation, bro.
Yeah,
That's a far left one, man. But that's the intent of that, man. It's just to know, like, look how far we've come along, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It just, Frankie and I said it just the last episode, I think it was. Look how far technology's come in 35 years. What do you think is going to happen in the next 35 years? So while you're still here, able, capable, willing, and with some intent, man, practice on that communication, y'all. That's it. Anybody, even if it's someone difficult as all hell, you can break through that shit. The outer shell, that's not an impenetrable shell, man. And it's just, you just got to navigate it a little differently. Move along the grain instead of against it, kind of thing. Maybe you'll find a way in, man. But practice is what gets you there. Practice makes progress, man.
Conversation will work for a lot of us, man. We ain't all dealing with Putin. You know what I'm
saying? Shit, right.
We ain't all dealing with one of them other extreme leaders they have in them other countries,
That part, for real. So,
my heart goes out to them, for real, man.
Mm-hmm. Scary, man. It's beautiful time to be alive, but very scary, too, man. Just depending on what side of that scale you're on, man. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
But shit, we hit that hour, bro.
Yes, sir.
It's been amazing, man. It's always fun to do this shit, bro. Love being up on this PC of Mine podcast with you, Frank.
Yes, sir.
And I love all of y'all out there that are tuning in, man. It's the best. So with that, for all y'all who came through, let us borrow some time. See you next week on PC of Mine. Much love. Thank you again.
Much love.